Once the storm hits land, if it does, it will tend to break up. It could re-intensify out in the ocean in the middle of the week, but one thing that's favoring our vulnerability as far as Diana is concerned is we've got a cool front coming down from the northwest, and that indeed will tend to keep Diana suppressed. I will say this, there is definitely no threat to our area in the next 3 or 4 days. Beyond that, anything can happen, but I will commit certainly for the next 3 days, no immediate threat. Radar does indicate some showers and thunder showers, and I'll tell you, when these hurricanes move into the coast, sometimes the outer bands of precipitation can spawn tornadoes. So indeed, that's another dangerous element.
I will add to it that there is a tornado watch in this area too. The tornado watch issued by the National Severe Storm Center in Kansas City, not the Hurricane Center. And the tornado watch is in effect because as these very heavy rain bands associated with the hurricane, and boy, this is a good picture of the hurricane. Look at the eye here. As these rain bands move in, tornadoes could be spawned. So heavy thunderstorms and tornadoes are likely along the coastal areas as the hurricane moves inland. Now then, we just plotted the predicted movement, and it looks as though, and this may change, but I will tell you this because this is what everyone wants to know. It looks as though it's going to go...
Miami, 243 people dead. 1935, the most powerful hurricane to ever strike the U.S. mainland. It crosses the Florida Keys. 500 people die. 1960, Hurricane Donna.
This is Ralph Rennick in Miami. Hurricane Donna has moved through Miami and is currently going into the Everglades area in southwestern Florida.
1965, Hurricane Betsy.
Betsy struck at the worst possible time, high tide at night. The wind pushed mountains of water over the land, knocking down palm trees and washing a tremendous amount of debris into the streets.
1969, Hurricane... 1979, Hurricane David. More than 1,000 dead.
You'll see tremendous waves, and you'll see the wind. You'll actually see the wind whipping the top off the waves and making it into white sheets of foam. There's some right down below us now. See it in big white streaks on the surface, and this is from 2 miles up.
What is the dimension of that area of whiteness?
85 to 90 yards across. Perhaps waves of 60 to 65 feet right there.
1983, Hurricane Alicia.
A very good picture of the storm. You can see it here. This is out of the Wilmington, Delaware, and it looks as though Wilmington is the place that is really battening down the hatches. There's the center of the storm. It is about 60 miles away from Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach now picking up 35-mile-an-hour wind gust. If the storm continues on its northerly path, it could move just to this side of Wilmington. If the center wobbles just a little bit to the left, if it wobbles this direction, it'll go in right here, right across Cape Fear. If it wobbles a little bit to the right, then there will be more of a movement away from Wilmington. It'll go in somewhere in here. And that's exactly the way that the National Hurricane Center put it in their 2 o'clock update. If it wobbles this way, it'll go in here. If it wobbles this way, it'll go in here. Simply a visual photograph. Nothing enhanced about it. Now there you get a very good picture of what a hurricane looks like. I hope you can pick it all out. Here's the coastline. This is Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Here's the coast right here. And obviously you can see an extremely well-defined eye to this hurricane. It does continue.
The rain continues to fall at this hour, and more is forecast as Diana moves in her unpredictable pattern. Power outages have been reported in some parts of this area, but officials are quick to remind all of us that the danger is not over yet.
Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, of course, here's the storm. And I want you to watch the position of the eye. During the daytime hours, it looked like it was very steadily and surely moving toward the north, toward this little point right there, which is called Cape Fear, North Carolina. Now watch what happens. Toward 4 o'clock, almost down the coast, all of a sudden it backs off a little bit. 6 o'clock, almost down the coast, 7 o'clock backs off a little bit. That's the hurricane wobble. You always hear Neil Frank talking about. And now the latest photograph, 10 o'clock, it really hasn't moved much at all. So if these satellite photographs are right, and everything is lined up right, the storm has practically come to a stop, apparently, in the last hour or so. At Cape Fear, right there on the exposed point. Here's Cape
Movement has slowed in the last few hours, and some forecasters expect it to hit the coast with full fury before sunrise on Wednesday. Winds topping 100 miles an hour have already been churning seas off the coast of North Carolina. Power has been knocked out to about 11,000 customers in the Wilmington area, and officials report downed power lines littering city streets. National Guard troops were called out to help with the evacuation of thousands of coastal residents during the day on Wednesday, but no injuries have fortunately been reported as a result of Hurricane Diana.
CNN's Brian Nelson has been following the path of Hurricane Diana from the National Hurricane Center in Miami.
To 115 miles an hour, and they are now battering the North Carolina coast near Cape Fear.
All right, now let me just interrupt you here. If you'll just...
In effect, from Cape Romaine all the way up to about Cape Hatteras. Then we have a gale warning from Cape Hatteras all the way up to about Virginia Beach. Tornado warning for southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina. The satellite loop now, taking you through about a 24-hour period. We'll run it a couple of times in case you miss it, because it does move right along from early yesterday through the current time. 4 a.m. this morning, the last picture in the loop. And you can see the storm is loitering right offshore. There's the eye, very well defined, right off of the Wilmington, North Carolina area. Here's the current picture, and you can see that it looks like maybe the storm has moved back a little bit.
Okay, so noontime yesterday, the eye shows up quite plainly, the dark spot near the center of the storm. Heavy thunderstorms already moving into southern portions of North Carolina and as far north as Pamlico Sound. High clouds streaming into southeastern Virginia. Now, some 16 hours later, an enhanced infrared picture shows the heaviest showers and thunderstorms out over the open waters of the Atlantic. A few heavy thunderstorms moving into coastal sections of North Carolina. Unbelievable radar picture. There's the eye to the east-southeast of Wilmington. And once again, the heaviest rains just remaining offshore, and the heavy rains will be slow to spread onshore during the next few hours. Along the North Carolina.
And again, this is the 180 nautical mile picture. You can see one band wrapping around back through Wilmington still. Rain showers near Myrtle Beach. There's the eye. Really has not moved at all at any great particular distance in almost the last, well, let's see, I guess roughly 6 to 10 hours or so. Latest satellite view will jump out along towards the...
That has been certainly an interesting storm.
Cedar Grove, that's for Grandma Elsie. Never misses our broadcast. Here she is, Diana, the noon bulletin from Miami. No change since 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. Peak winds still 115 miles per hour. Central pressure 28.53, wobbling erratically off the coast of North Carolina. A broader view shows heavy thunderstorms up in the upper Midwest, but mainly on the radar, you can see still plenty of precipitation. Points on the Carolina coast have had up to 80
knockout storm have moved well inland now. You can see one rather intense band, and it looks as though it may make it all the way to Fayetteville. That's the FAY that you see just to the above left of the center of your screen. And it looks as though that heavy rain band may move on into Fayetteville. So we'll keep our eye on it for you. Wilmington, as of 10 o'clock this morning, had already reported 7 1/4 inches of rain.
You can see the storm is still kind of meandering around. Actually, it's hard to tell, but the eye was drifting to the west at this time. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it sort of settles down. Now, I want you to watch the eye very carefully and watch how it sort of drifts toward the west or then toward the southwest. That trend is still evident at 9 in our last photograph, 10 o'clock. Look how close it is now. Hurricane force winds now are just outside that eye. That's the maximum wind you're going to find in a hurricane, right outside that eye of the storm. Now, what I've done, before we do that, hurricane warnings are in effect from Oregon Inlet.
It's still hovering off the coast, some 20 miles east of Cape Fear, North Carolina. Joining us live now from the National Hurricane Center in Miami is the center's director, Dr. Neil.
To watch us this morning, do not go out and venture. It's a classic story of a lady in New York one day. The hurricane passed over. She went out to look in the middle of the storm, and the back wall of this eye came back across her house, and needless to say, she was killed. So
it's still retaining a lot of strength because it's feeding off the heat generated by the water. When it gets completely overland, the winds will die down, but not the rain. Flooding is going to be a very serious problem, and what happens all along the Appalachian chain is going to be important. Sometimes, as you well know, they sort of course up the mountains and drench some areas that can ill afford it at this time.
Well, as the motion as of 3:30 this morning Eastern time, and we see the eye is not quite as well defined now as it moved onshore south of Wilmington. Still the heavy showers and thunderstorms, mostly offshore. A lot of high clouds and some showers moving into southeastern Virginia, and one band of high clouds crossing the lower Chesapeake Bay. Clear skies from southern West Virginia on the west side of the storm, and more clear skies down through northern and central Florida.